All right, ladies and gentlemen, heat number 1, Dave Holmberg, Chris Johnson. Up front, Becky Snodgrass, Brendan Timon on the second row, Vern Spring, Ryan McDaniel on the third, David Lux, Andrew Thornton on the fourth, CJ Allman and Richie Joplin round out the field for heat number 1. Does not look like Dave Holmberg is going to take to the grid. This heat will determine the inside line for that feature event. Chris Johnson is taking his EOL drop into the tail end so he can run from the back. That'll put Brendan Timon and Becky Snodgrass on the front row. Can Becky pull off her first Jones BS Racing heat win here? Got a lot of hard-charging guys back behind, including the points leader and effectively the champion, Kendrick Cryer. Kendrick has a 40-point lead coming into this race. With one more week to go, it may be insurmountable as green flag is in the air. They are away. A lot of sliding through 1 and 2. They're back on the power. Becky gets loose. She gets into Ryan. Andrew Thornton gets caught. Ryan McDaniel also gets caught up, as well as Richie Joplin. Becky is taking it to pit road. Let's take a quick look. There's that loose car getting off turn 2. Andrew Thornton, Richie Joplin both get collected. We heard the drivers talking about you have to be so careful on the power coming out of the turns here with this car. Timon just drifts it off, as does second place Vern Spring. Vern battling with CJ Allman. Oh, Vern gets the wall out of 4. CJ pulls ahead. Scoring has gone a bit wonky. Richie Joplin is not the leader. Brendan Timon is. And now it is corrected. Chris Johnson just set the fastest lap so far, back and forth as he reels in Vern Spring. CJ Allman now in second. Vern holds on to third, but Chris Johnson in fourth is closing in. David Lux in fifth. Andrew Thornton has recovered into sixth. Ryan McDaniel in seventh. Richie Joplin eighth. And Becky Snodgrass in ninth. Oh, CJ wickedly loose out of turn 4. Meanwhile, Chris Johnson on the attack on Vern for third. Vern goes up the track, gets the wall. Chris Johnson now into third. Now David Lux battling with Vern Spring. Vern managing to hold him off for the moment. Lux, oh, he drives in too deep, gets into Vern's door. Both of them manage to hold on, both of them loose out of 4. But Brendan Timon has the lead. CJ Ullman in second is closing in. Coming out of turn 4, Brendan Timon will get the white flag. One more lap to go. Can he hold off a hard charging CJ Ullman? Down the back straightaway into turn 3. CJ sends it deep and gets the wall. Brendan Timon will win heat number 1. CJ Ullman closely gets second. Chris Johnson in third. On to heat number 2, we'll see Kyle McRacken, Martin, and Kendrick Cryer on the front row. Ed Sr., Russell Worth on that second row. Scott Snodgrass, Matt Moniak on the third. Austin Thornton, Edmund Jones on the fourth. And Jackson McLean rounds out the field. All the drivers on the grid. Pace car begins rolling. This will set the outside line for the feature. Kyle Martin jumps to the high side. He is going to drop to the tail end along with Kendrick Cryer, giving Ed Sr. the front starting spot, followed by Russell Worth on the high side. Pace car will turn in on the back straightaway. McRacken back there getting some heat in those tires and scrubbing them off. Kendrick getting in on the act as well. That is some aggressive work. And here we go, heat number 2. Green flag is in the air. Ed Sr. clears them into turn 1. Here comes Moniak underneath Russell Worth for second. A lot of squirrely cars back mid-pack as Moniak battles with Russell out at 4. Austin Thornton got the wall out of 4. Jackson McLean moves up to 8. Oh, Ed slides it into the wall but holds on to the lead. Russell Worth, though, right to the bumper, starts to look to the inside. Oh, he's around. Moniak is in the wall. Kendrick Cryer does an evasive maneuver underneath, picks up several spots. Let's see what happened to Russell. Out of turn 4, it looked like Moniak just had a lot more momentum, gets into Russell's bumper. Ed Sr. continues to lead, but Matt Moniak is right there. Scott now up in third. But Kendrick Cryer trying to fight by on the high side. Oh, Kendrick, both of them loose. Out of 4, Kendrick pulls up into 3rd. Edmund Jones just set the fastest lap so far. Back in 8th place. Five laps to go. Can Ed Sr. hold on to it? Kendrick Cryer just beat Edmund's fast lap, but unable to get by Moniak so far. Now Cryer looking on the high side on Moniak through 1 and 2. They have both closed in on Senior's bumper. Cryer gets the wall but keeps his foot in it. Scott Snodgrass, Jackson McLean just behind, waiting for a mistake out of these two battling for second. Almost got it through 1 and 2. Scott a little loose out of 2. Ed Sr. still in the lead, but Cryer looking on the high side. They come out of turn 4, 2 to go. Sr. shuts the door on Cryer, but now Cryer looks to the high side. Moniak tries sticking the nose back underneath. Out of turn 4, white flag is in the air one more time around for Ed Sr. Cryer again looks to the high side to make a move, but can't get there. Sr. gets a little loose, almost left the door open. Out of turn 4, though, Ed Sr. is going to win his second heat of the season. Cryer fought his way up to second. Moniak comes home in 3rd. What a battle. Now they have 5 minutes to warm up. Last chance to get some practice laps in here. Try and find that little bit more speed that'll put them over the top. CJ Allman out, Andrew Thornton, Ed Sr., Kyle Martin, Kendrick Cryer, Chris Johnson, Ryan McDaniel, everybody on their way out now. And looks like the EHP boys are going to do a pit party to practice their restart. Here they go. Kendrick quickly slides up behind McRecken. Now starts to look under McRecken. And Vern Spring also out there on track. David Lux in this group. Becky Snodgrass, who had problems in her heat, getting some last-minute practice in here. CJ Allman, though, at the moment, the fastest one on track. Based on what we saw in the heats, man, this feature is going to get wild. Hey, good evening, Thomas. Edmund Jones out getting some practice. Russell Worth right beside him. Richie Joplin back behind Curley, 4th fastest. As always, don't forget to hit that like, follow, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that share button. Invite your friends and family out to watch. Vicky cheering on Chris Johnson tonight. Looks like they are going to attempt another pit party here. Scott out on track. Everybody getting in that last few seconds of practice. Especially with the excitement we saw in the heats. And these drivers definitely have to be careful getting on the throttle. These cars have so much power. It is easy. And so little rear grip. It is easy to spin the tires here. These cars produce 500 horsepower, and despite the width of those rear tires, they just do not have a ton of grip to them. Andrew Thornton tops the leaderboard at the moment. And yes, happy 317th birthday of 2023 to Richie Joplin. Hard to believe Richie Joplin only has like 48 birthdays left this year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have been waiting for, the feature here at IRP. Brendan Timon and Ed Sr. will have the front row. CJ Ullman, Kendrick Cryer on the second row. Chris Johnson, Matt Moniak on the third row. David Lux, Jackson McLean on the fourth. Vern Spring and Scott Snodgrass round out your top 10. Andrew Thornton and Kyle McRecken Martin starting in 11th and 12th. Ryan McDaniel starting in 13th. Edmund Jones in 14th. Richie Joplin 15th. Austin Thornton starting in 16th. Becky Snodgrass in 17th. Russell Worth in 18th. Dave Holmberg rounding out the 19-car field here tonight. Holmberg did not grid in the heats. Do not think he will be taking part in the feature. Richie, I hope so too, buddy. All the drivers begin to pull off pit road, stack up for the start. Ed Sr. had a great second heat, managing to pull off his second heat win of the year. With that front row starting spot, could he pull off a top 5, maybe even a win here tonight? Would be awesome to see Senior finally get to victory lane. Pace car is in through 3 and 4. Timon out front with Ed Sr. alongside as we get ready for the feature. Here they come out of turn 4. Timon fires there away. Green flag in the air. Senior holds on to second. CJ Allman already looking underneath. We've got cars sliding. We knew it was going to be an issue in the early going, especially on cold tires. Once they get some heat in them, it'll be a little bit better. Becky Snodgrass a little loose off turn 4. Oh, it is getting sketchy from second on back. Matt Moniak now looking underneath Senior. Vern Spring already on the attack as well. And here comes Andrew Thornton already up 4 spots looking underneath Vern. Richie Joplin though up 6 spots. Oh, we've got him spinning off the back. Russell Worth and McRicken involved. Caution is out. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Russell just gets on the power a little too hard, goes around, collects an already loose McRicken. McRicken looked to the bottom coming out of turn 2, got a little of the apron. He was already a hair on the loose side, so it did not take much to send him down. Chris Johnson also on pit road, as well as David Lux, Richie Joplin, Ryan McDaniel, Kyle Martin, and Russell Worth. Matt Moniak now headed in along with Vern Spring, Edmund Jones, Kendrick Cryer. I have to suspect here that the cars did not have enough fuel to go to the distance here tonight. Either that or it is really, really close, and a few of these drivers think they can stretch it with caution laps. We have seen it happen a couple of times this season. That fuel window is just right on the money for the number of laps in the race, but does not account for cautions. Lights are back out on the pace car. CJ Allman and Brendan Timon on the front row. Out of turn 4, Timon in control. He fires right away. Green flag back in the air. Jackson McLean, the Wonder Boy, on the attack now up to third. Austin Thornton, the big mover, up 10 spots now. All the way up into 6th. Scott Snodgrass in 7th. Richie Joplin in 8th. A lot of battling back behind. Chris Johnson side by side with David Lux. McRicken right behind, and Moniak looking underneath Kendrick Cryer. Kyle Martin goes 3 wide on the bottom, can't make it stick. They are side by side, mid-pack up front where they have gone. Oh! Ed Sr. gets the wall. Brendan Timon just set the fastest lap of the race with C.J. Allman right on his bumper. Jackson McLean, Andrew Thornton third and fourth. Allman, though, started to go on the attack through turn 3. Could not complete the pass. Most of the field single file at the moment. Richie Joplin currently in 8th. Chris Johnson now up to 7th as he begins to attack again. But Austin Thornton, who's already up 11 spots now, just set the fastest lap of the race, and Becky Snodgrass has had a problem back behind. No caution as yet. Quite a battle going on back in the middle of the pack. Richie Joplin trying to find a way back past McRecken. They are awfully slidey out here tonight. Timon and Allman have a half a second gap on Jackson McLean and Andrew Thornton. Austin Thornton, though, continues to reel in his brother. Ed Sr. doing awesome, holds on to 6th despite the attack from Chris. Oh, Chris comes up the track. Door slams him, but Chris goes around. Sr. holds on to it. McRecken now on Ed Sr.'s back bumper. Sr. in 6th. Kendrick Cryer has now worked his way up to 8th. Richie Joplin holds on to 9th. Edmund Jones making his way forward, now in 10th. McRecken makes a big dive through 1 and 2, overshoots it. Sr. back underneath. Can't make it stick, though, and here comes Kendrick on the high side. Ed Sr. Oh, Ed loose, and here comes Richie Joplin. Brendan Timon continues to caution is out. Caution is out. Lap number 18. Richie Joplin and Ed Sr. both involved. Let's see what happened. Richie on the bottom, Sr. up top, out of turn 2. Oh, Sr. gets loose. Richie goes hard to the inside. Sr. does get rolling again. There's Ed on the outside, just gets loose, tries to check up, and Edmund just gets into him. Several cars on pit road likely getting that fuel, including Jackson McLean, Andrew Thornton, Austin Thornton, and Brendan Timon. Also, Dave Holmberg, who did not start the race, has come out on track. Holmberg did not take to the grid. He is several laps down. Kyle Martin, who is one of the drivers that pitted under that first caution, now as the lead takes a little bit of a bump from Kendrick. I imagine it's just those two goofing off. David Lux now to third, Matt Moniak in fourth, Ryan McDaniel up to fifth, Russell Worth in sixth, Vern Springs seventh, Scott Snodgrass in eighth, Chris Johnson in ninth, and Brendan Timon in 10th. Scott, the only driver who has not pitted yet. Lights are out on the pace car. They stack up side by side. Kyle Martin in control. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They are away. Holmberg dropping to the apron to let the cars by, so he does not interfere with all the guys on the lead lap. Kyle has the lead. Kendrick went on the attack briefly. Now Kendrick shoots to the inside. Oh, they touch. Moniak just could not get the momentum into three to take advantage. Now Lux looks underneath. Ryan McDaniel lurking back behind. Russell Worth unable to mount an attack on him yet. Vern Spring back in seventh. Mostly single file at the moment. CJ Allman looking underneath Andrew Thornton. Vern Spring gets the wall through 1 and 2. Manages to keep going. Kyle Martin just set the fastest lap of the race so far. Andrew Thornton now back up into 11th place. Brendan Timon currently running in 8th. Those drivers were on pit road under that last caution. Matt Moniak in third, unable to keep pace at the moment with Kendrick. David Lux, Ryan McDaniel just staying single file. Not a lot of battling going on. Russell now up into 8th, up 10 spots. Tries to make an attack, but Vern Spring looks underneath. Andrew Thornton now looks underneath CJ Allman as they come off 2. Holy cow, Allman was way out of shape. Andrew slides high. Richie looks underneath, right behind him. Scott and Jackson McLean battle it out. Oh, big wreck, out of 2, caution. Russell Worth and Vern Spring both involved in this one. Russell up high in the 77. Oh, looks like he gets a tap from Allman. Comes across Vern's nose. Richie even got a tap, but managed to hold it going the right way. Kyle Martin, Kendrick Cryer, the top two. Matt Moniak, David Lux, and Chris Johnson round out the top five. Ryan McDaniel, Brendan Timon, Edmund Jones, Richie Joplin, and Andrew Thornton rounding out the top 10. Russell Worth and Vern Spring both on pit road for repairs. Becky getting a wave around here, getting one of her laps back. Lights go back out on the pace car as everybody stacks back up for the restart. Kyle choosing the inside line on this one. Pace car is in. Matt Moniak right on McGrecken's bumper. He wants every advantage he can get here. Green flag back in the air. Holmberg again moves down. Oh, we've got trouble. Everybody makes it through. There were some cars way out of shape going into turn one. Everybody survives out of turn two. Briefly 3 wide there. Oh, McGrecken bounces off the wall into Kendrick. Kendrick has the run into turn one. They are leaning on each other down the straightaways. David Lux lurking right behind. Kendrick goes to the lead. Immediately gets a bump from Kyle and goes around. Caution is out. Austin Thornton had a problem behind. See what happened to Austin. Likely that is what brought the caution out. Austin goes off into one. CJ Ullman gets into his bumper. And let's take another look at this battle between the top two. Kyle bouncing off Kendrick. They bounce off each other. Kendrick just sends it deep into three, drifts up across Kyle's nose. Chris Johnson straightens him back out. Ed Sr. got waved around. He is now back on the lead lap, back in the fight. Don't count him out after watching that heat race. He has a ton of speed out here tonight as they stack back up for the restart. Pace car is in. Kyle Martin in control. Out of turn four, Kyle fires. They are away. Green is in the air. Kendrick already back on the attack, but now Chris Johnson is also here. Edmund Jones has made his way up to 5th, but Timon on the attack on the bottom. Richie Joplin has fought his way back up into 8th. And Richie and Andrew kissed the wall. No loss of speed. Richie a little bobble out of turn 2, but he is on the attack. Worth noting, holy cow, Richie almost gets into Matt Moniak. I did hear that some of the drivers practiced this during the practice session, and the Hail Melon does work here as long as you have the safer barrier, but once that safer barrier ends coming out of the turn, it goes to crap. So you have to be off the barrier before you get to the end of it. Could we see the Hail Melon happen here tonight? Chris Johnson all over Kendrick's bumper for 3rd. Edmund Jones could not hold off Brendan Timon. Timon now up into 5th. David Lux has a run under Chris, has to check up out of 2. I'm sorry, Lux was underneath McRecken. Matt Moniak has drifted back into 7th now as Richie Joplin looking underneath. Jackson McLean has now fought his way up into 9th. Andrew Thornton sits in 10th with Ryan McDaniel on the bumper. And CJ Allman right behind him. Scott Snodgrass also lurking behind. Russell Worth currently holds 14th. Austin Thornton back in 15th. Ed Senior in 16th. Vern Spring back in 17th. "20 laps to go. Kyle Martin still out front. He's not able to pull away from David Lux, and David has not been able to successfully make a move. Chris Johnson also all over the back bumper of Kendrick Cryer, just unable to make anything happen. Caution is out, and it looks like Richie Joplin may have been involved. Let's see what happened to Richie. Richie on the high side. Oh, looks like some net code at play as Moniak got in there. From the chopper view, blimp does not help us much. Yeah, there was definitely a foot or two between them. Definitely not what Kyle Martin wanted to see here. Less than 20 laps to go, and he was pretty safe there for a few moments. Now he will have to fend off multiple attacks on the restart. Vern Spring gets the lucky dog, putting him back on the lead lap in 17th. Becky Snodgrass has gone to pit road. She had problems early on in the race. This will definitely help Brendan Timon, who was leading early on. Did have to make that fuel stop and then had to fight his way back up into the top 5. Now the question is, 4 EHP drivers out front, can Timon get past them? Lights go out, they stack back up. Does appear McRecken choosing the inside line. Pace car drops in. Out of turn 4, here we go. Green flag back in the air, 14 to go. McRecken clears traffic quickly. Lux, whoa, gets a little bit of the wall out of 2. Timon still trying to get past, clear Edmund Jones, and get the nose under Chris Johnson. Richie Joplin now back up into 8th. Andrew Thornton now up to 9th. But David Lux still right there with McRecken and Kendrick right on Lux's bumper. Chris Johnson lurking in 4th. Timon not able to do anything with him at the moment. Richie now looking underneath Moniak. Andrew Thornton trying to take advantage on the high side. Can't get there. Oh, Thornton. Oh! McLean and Thornton get together through 3 and 4. Richie is around. Cars are airborne and caution. Matt Moniak involved, CJ Ullman, Vern Spring. A lot of drivers get caught in this one. Take a look and see what happened here. There's Richie on the bottom. A lot of banging back behind. Netcode yet again. Richie, everybody ends up underneath Richie, sends him flying. Matt tries to back out of it, but car's right on his bumper, including CJ Ullman, who had a wild ride. A lot of drivers on pit road. Ryan McDaniel, Jackson McLean, CJ Ullman, Matt Moniak, Scott Snodgrass, Russell Worth, all coming in. I think you're right, John. I think that was pretty much the big one for tonight. Especially with Richie Joplin taking flight there. And don't forget, if you've missed any of the races this season, you can find them all on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're checking us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and the YouTubes. Everybody trying to keep some heat in the tires, and the tires scrubbed off and clean. Lights go out on the pace car. We'll have about 6 laps to go on the green. The way Richie Joplin's car was flying, I don't know that those walls those spectators are standing next to are quite tall enough. Pace car is in. McRecken in control. They fire and are away. Green flag in the air. Lux gets a great start. But McRecken dives it low, and they are 3 wide coming through 1 and 2. Oh, a couple of bobbles at the back. Everybody holds on to it. David Lux has a run underneath. They're side by side, headed into 1, 5 to go. 3 wide back behind as Timon goes on the attack. Oh, McRecken is backwards. Caution. We will get a green-white checkered finish. We saw Kyle headed backwards. Out of 2, looks like he just bounced off the wall, came across the nose of David Lux. Oh! Austin Thornton, Richie Joplin also involved. Austin Thornton checked up. Nobody else had anywhere to go. Richie Joplin locks him up, still gets hit by McRecken. David Lux, there was nothing he could do. And everything went nuts behind him. That was a huge shakeup at the front. Now you got Kendrick Cryer and Chris Johnson on the front row. Brendan Timon, Edmund Jones on the second. Andrew Thornton, Vern Spring on the third. Ed Sr., Jackson McLean on the fourth. Matt Moniak and Ryan McDaniel rounding out the top 10. Kyle Martin now back in 12th. David Lux now back to 13th. And Richie Joplin all the way back in 15th. Lights go out on the pace car. Through 3 and 4 they come. Kendrick Cryer, the points leader, in control on the restart. Green flag is in the air. 2 to go up the line. Chris Johnson holds steady till they get to 1. Chris got bumped. Caution is out. That's the big one. A lot of cars involved in this one. Chris Johnson involved, Matt Moniak, Austin Thornton, Vern Spring. Let's take a look at what happened here. Off into turn one. Looked like Edmund just got the better run in. Chris goes around. Moniak goes up the track. Moniak in the middle, nowhere to go. Gets into the back of the 18, then into the outside wall. And I think Austin Thornton has been caught in everything here tonight. And that does move Ed Sr. back into the top 5, right behind Edmund Jones. Kendrick Cryer, Brendan Timon, Andrew Thornton, Edmund Jones, and Ed Sr. round out your top 5. Jackson McLean, Ryan McDaniel, CJ Allman, Kyle Martin, and David Lux, your top 10. Now the question is, on the final green-white checker, does Timon have enough to get past Cryer? And if they battle hard enough, can Ed Sr. put himself in position to capitalize on any mistake here? Sr. got his second win. It does look like Matt Moniak, who we saw his engine smoking, it just let go. Ed Sr. got his second heat win of the season here tonight. Can he cap it off with the feature win? Lights are out there, stacked up, ready to go. The last attempt at a green-white checker. Kendrick choosing the restart on the high side. Can Timon do anything with him? A bunch of questions about to be answered here at IRP. Green flag back in the air. 2 to go. Kendrick quickly clears. Edmund follows him forward. Timon still fighting on the bottom. Oh! Jackson McLean hard into the wall. Ryan McDaniel is down off the track. White flag is in the air one more time around. Kendrick Cryer out front. Edmund in second. Just coming by Timon. Timon sends it deep through 3 and 4, but out of turn 4, Kendrick Cryer wins and locks up the championship. Edmund Jones coming home second, Brendan Timon third, Andrew Thornton fourth, David Lux coming home in fifth. What a race that was. Let's see if we can talk to our top 3, starting with Brendan Timon. Brendan, that was one heck of a fight on that green-white checkered.
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, the track one, it was basically all top all race, and plus the dirty air was horrible. We had a really fast car here tonight. For both races actually. This was definitely a redemption race of what happened last race.
Well, man, it was definitely an awesome battle out there, and managing to come home third despite all the chaos was impressive.
Yeah, well, it sucks that we had to pit for fuel. Because we were really fast out front. I was just saving my car. I knew CJ was on my bumper. I got a little close there a couple of times, but I had really fun. I think my luck is starting to turn around a little bit more. But yeah, just had a fun night, and hopefully I'll get the win next week. But hopefully I'll get a championship for the Legends too. That's gonna be a good race.
It definitely is, man. Great job tonight. Congratulations. What a finish.
Thank you.
Brendan Timon comes home third. Edmund Jones comes home in second. Edmund, quite a fight there at the end. You were back and forth pretty much all night.
Yeah, I mean, we had a terrible, terrible Legends race, and to come out here and compete in the late models, it was fun. I mean, I'm out of breath right now. The incident with Chris there on the first green-white checkered, he ended up claiming it. He said he missed his shift. I felt bad because Chris was going to be up there on the podium, but took it, started behind Kendrick, and came home second. It was a heck of a battle with Timon, and man, if I could have got to Kendrick, we were going to recreate Las Vegas.
Well, man, another great podium finish. Congratulations, buddy.
Hey, thanks, man.
And finally, our winner and new champion, Kendrick Cryer. Well, Kendrick, there's no questions about it. At this point, you have locked up the championship in the late models.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, starting in the back and getting up through there. I think Kyle was a little bit faster than I was in this race, but him and David got together, and I was able to steal it.
Well, it was definitely quite a battle. You definitely had a fight coming up through there. It was not easy to pass, especially making it work on the inside, which somehow you managed to do.
Yeah, a couple times I was able to make it work down there, and track is hard to pass at. You kind of have to either get to their outside somehow, or drive underneath them and storm up the track just a little bit. And that's if there's two guys that run the same speed, pretty tough to pass.
You and Kyle definitely had an interesting incident when you finally got past him. As soon as you slid up, you ended up sideways.
Yeah, he kind of was trying to cross me over and just barely got me in the left for a little bit, and somehow saved it, but I really don't know how I saved it, but we saved it.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. You got it done. You secured your title. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kendrick Cryer comes home with the win and the championship. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget, we will be live tomorrow throughout the day doing some trucking, and who knows what other trouble we'll get into. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did tonight. Have a great night, everybody.